Welcome to Forward Ever, Leading in Challenging Times, presented by Worth Wealth Management, a weekly conversation with area leaders about how to persevere during uncertain times. Now here's your host, Gary Shorman.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to Forward Ever, Leading in Challenging Times. And one of those challenges out there is you don't think about it very often, but there are people that don't have food. There are people that don't have a place to go. And our guest today is Macey Pfeifer, who's a part of she's executive director of the First Call for Help here in Hayes. And Macey, thanks for being on our call today.
Thanks for having me.
You know, one of the things you think about when you think about Hayes are the groups that take care of people in our community. One of the things you don't think about is those people that really need help. What do they do? Tell everyone that's listening about First Call for Help and what they do.
Sure. So here at First Call for Help, we're actually an information and referral agency. So what that means is, first of all, for referrals, anyone that we are not able to help, we try to refer them over to a different agency or get them, contact information for someone that might be able to help them better than us. We give out like information. So if anyone's looking to do any rentals or they're trying to get into contact for low income housing, we have a complete list of that and contacts for landlords or apartment complexes. Another thing that we do here at First Call for Help would be food boxes and hygiene items. So once a month, each household that would like to come or is in need of items, they can come in and they can get food boxes, and the food boxes depend on the size of their family. So just depending on how many items we can put in there. For hygiene, we can give out anything from shampoo, deodorant, body wash, bars of soap, razors, feminine hygiene products, anything like that. We on occasion do get donated like laundry detergent and dish soap. So we definitely appreciate when that comes in. Something else that we do, we collaborate with Hayes Medical Center for Meals on Wheels. Meals on Wheels is a meal delivery service, and we deliver meals 365 days a year, including holidays. The only time we ever cancel is if the 489 district cancels school. So those meals are available to anyone that is elderly or homebound, and they just have to call First Call to sign up. And we do actually currently have some openings right now. I did list those on our Facebook page. I don't know them off the top of my head, but we do have some openings. Usually we have a wait list, so that's really nice. Another thing that we are big in is backpacks for kids, and we start that in around May each year. So we give out about 600 or so backpacks to Ellis County kids. Each backpack is filled with school supplies appropriate to whatever grade they may be in, and hygiene items. And then we also, the day of the event, have different vendors there. And so people, when they come, they kind of have a, one little collaborative place to get in touch with Girl Scouts or get in touch with other agencies that may be able to help them. Another program that we have is the diaper stash, and we can give out diapers each month to a household. We also do get in formula quite often. I don't think that people really are aware of that, and we probably need to be better at kind of telling people or maybe posting it, because a lot of people don't ask for it, but I know a lot of people are in need of it. A big thing that we have that Linda Mills started in 2021 would be our First Step Housing, and that is located actually in the back of our office spaces. There are 4 living units. It can house up to 8 individuals if they were all single individuals and they shared rooms, but we have never had to do that so far. So how it works back there is someone is able to apply, and then they go through an interview process, and then they are drug screened through the Kansas Pathology Lab. It's not emergency shelter, whereas maybe something like Options would be, where they can get you in low barrier. It's definitely not low barrier. We do our best, but it's not emergency. It's a program. We want people to come in. We can keep them up to 6 months, and we help them work on their budgeting skills. They must be employed back there, and if they're not employed, we do require like volunteer work, a certain amount of hours per week. And so, like I said, we help them with their budgeting. We help them get savings accounts at a local bank. And then while they're here, they're in charge of different things like, you know, this week, maybe unit 1 is taking the trash out, or this week, maybe unit 2 is wiping down counters and things like that. So just kind of helping them save money while they can kind of build and just
Macey,
get back on their feet.
I'm listening to this. Sounds like you have a staff of 100 people down there to do all of this.
Yeah, so we actually only have a staff of 3. There's 2 full-timers, Laura Schoaf and myself. And then we just newly hired a part-time person. His name is Adrian Broman, and he is the project coordinator. Laura is the client service specialist. Laura is in charge of the weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly meetings with anybody that may be living back there. We currently have 2 openings back there. We just had one of the units clear out. So if anybody is in need of housing or anything like that, they can contact us.
Well, I know you have volunteer groups that help you do things as well. I understand that help, because you do a lot of work for the community, and that's what's great. And one of the things that just happened, you just announced this, but you are now part of the Kansas Food Bank. And it's been challenging trying to find food for people and get the right amount of food and the right things. How did all this come about with the Kansas Food Bank?
Sure. So for quite a few years, of course, even before myself, we were kind of teamed up with a local food pantry here, St. Joe's Food Pantry, and they were kind of giving us about 10 starter boxes a week. And a starter box includes about 12 to 15 items per box. They would already have them prepackaged, and we would just pick them up. And then we would stuff them accordingly, depending on how many's in the household, to fill those up. They were partnered with the Kansas Food Bank, and we actually found out that they were not supposed to be trading or giving us any items. And so we were kind of breaking a rule that we found out about. We didn't know, of course. And so we wanted to be sure that we resolve that issue as soon as possible. And so, we kind of took a hit once we weren't able to get boxes from them, and we really noticed like, oh, we really have no supply. So we decided that we needed to join the Kansas Food Bank, and it was about a 2-month process. We had to have someone from the Kansas Food Bank come down and kind of evaluate our space and do inspections and things like that. Make sure the food's high enough off the floor and a certain distance from the wall, and things that people don't really think about because they were kind of interesting. But we did pass, and we got approved.
So how will that impact what you guys can do? Because you're already doing so many things. What will the impact be of having the food bank as a connection?
Sure. I think that it'll just better help us serve our clients. Donations are great. They're just so sporadic for us. We don't know when and if they're going to come in, and we don't know what's coming in. So a big thing, just for example, is everyone, honestly, they need milk. And, with donations, we don't know if someone's going to be bringing what we usually use as powdered milk. So just with the Kansas Food Bank, I think it's just going to have a lot more certainty because there's a shopping list and we order what we think we need.
So do people still donate? Because it used to be people would just bring food down. That's usually kind of sporadic sometime, but do people still donate?
Yes, we do have a lot of donations still coming in, which is awesome. The community has been really good, and they've been especially good when, we would post on Facebook saying we were pausing food boxes because we didn't have enough to give out. And so we're not joining the Kansas Food Bank in place of donations. We're more so joining it to kind of fill the void that we felt with losing St. Joe's as a partner.
So when's the first food bank truck show up? Is it already been here? When will that happen?
It'll arrive on January 8th, and the semi also cannot fit through our tiny little parking lot. So we actually have to pick ours up at the Community Assistance Center.
Well, those are the challenges you get into, Macey, when you look at these things. But I'm excited because one of the things we heard at the Schmidt Foundation was the need for food. And until you're in that position, it's hard to understand that. But I know you hear stories of people, especially children, that just don't have the food they need.
Correct. Yes.
And when they do that, where do people go to find? Do they just come down to your office, or do they give you a call? How do they find out about that?
Sure. So we get a lot of people that come in, or they honestly, if they haven't been here before, they usually do just call. And our food, we are pretty easy with it. The only thing you have to bring in to receive food for the first time is a driver's license. There's no need for like proof of income or anything like that. And then we also have a list in our lobby area that lists every food bank in Hayes, their hours, and where they're located at. So yeah, I would say most people call if they're new, but we do have a lot of people that walk in.
Well, you have a cool office. I was in there the other day, and you do have a cool office. Macy, let's take a quick break. Going to come back, and when we come back, talk about how people can be involved with First Call for Help, whether it be donate food or connect with you guys down at your office. We'll do that in just a second. Our program's brought to you by Worth Wealth Management. We'll be back after this.
The most successful investors are those that can keep their emotions in check and take a longer-term view at what portfolios will be worth 3 to 5 years down the road. I'd say that's the most important in determining what investor outcomes are. Market corrections will continue in the future. We've seen many of them over the years, only to see equity prices rise higher, and that'll be the case in the future.
Worth Wealth Management, enhancing lives and strengthening families.
Welcome back to Forward Ever, leading in challenging times. And it's challenging when you don't have the food you need. One of the groups that helps with that here in Ellis County is First Call for Help. Their executive director is with us today, Macey Pfeifer. And Macey, thanks for all you and your team do, because you have a small staff, but you do an amazing amount of work in our community and get help. How do people help you? What's the best thing that people can do, especially over the holidays, to help you?
Sure. So as a nonprofit, obviously the best thing, if people are able to, is usually financially donate. But if they're not able to, we definitely love when people donate food or hygiene items and just volunteer. A big thing that we just recruited volunteers for was the Ellis County Ministerial Alliance Thanksgiving Feast. It was held on Thanksgiving Day, and we had about 60 volunteers. It's a pretty big event, and we served around, I want to say, between 400 and 500 people. I don't have the exact number, but that's how many we were planning for. So probably, yeah, volunteers would be most needed, especially when we have big events.
Macy, talk about your Facebook page, your phone number, and your location, because you have a brand new sign out front. I drove by the other day, and it's like, wow, that looks nice. How do people come and find you, talk to you, meet up with you, connect with you on social media?
Sure, yeah, and that new signage is thanks to the Schmidt Foundation.
Yeah, it looks good.
It's awesome. We appreciate that. It looks great. Northwestern Printers did an awesome job. Our location is 607 East 13th Street here in Hayes. Our phone number is 785-623-2800, and our website is www.firstcallalliscounty.com.
Well, I just looked that up before we did the program, and you have great pictures of some of the events that you guys are doing. And so if you can go to that, but it is a mouthful of words, First Call for Help, elliscounty.org, right?
Lucky enough for me, that's what I get to type for my email address too.
Macey, thank you and your team down there for all the great work you do at First Call for Help and the people you take care of in our community. And I hope those listening, if they have a chance, it's a great place to support our community, either through a gift, your volunteer time, or if you want, end of the year, just make a donation. That's great. Macey, thanks for joining us today.
Yes, thank you so much for having me.
Macey Pfeifer is our guest today, Executive Director of First Call for Help here in Ellis County. Thanks for listening to Forward Ever, leading in challenging times, brought to you by Worth Wealth Management. I'm Gary Shorman.
Thanks for joining us for Forward Ever, Leading in Challenging Times, presented by Worth Wealth Management. Join us right here next week for another episode with host Gary Shorman. Until then, remember to move forward ever, backward never.